Happy Monday. All right, I'm here to bust some weight loss myths. And I want to teach you some fat loss tips for women over 40. And I'm really, really excited about this. I run a membership academy called Limitless Academy, and we do bi-monthly challenges. And this next month, starting on May 1st, we are doing a next level body challenge. And the majority of the women in there are 40 and over. And there's so many things that I think that I have to speak to. One, really understand this. The myth that your metabolism slows and expect to gain weight, I am going to call it a myth. And here's why. One, I'm 46 years old. I do not have a thyroid. I had a thyroidectomy in 2017. I look better than I did in my 30s. And I do not diet and I don't do crazy workouts. I mean, my clients even know sometimes like my workout is, a 30-minute walk and jog. But I do want to give you specific tips that are going to support you. But the biggest one that I'm going to tell you that has supported me and supports my community is mindset. I don't buy into the limiting beliefs that we get told. I was told, Melissa, once you don't have a thyroid, man, it's going to be just expect. And at first I did. I expected what they said. I'm like, this is going to take a long time. The minute that I dropped that, I dropped excess weight. But before that, I was always up 10 pounds, down 10 pounds, inflamed. I looked puffy. I couldn't get my medications right. And then I finally really did the work that I teach. I communed with my body and I said, what do I want to be true for me? And I held that self-concept. Self-concept and self-love are not the same thing. Self-concept is who I believe I am and what I believe I'm deserving of having. And I had built up a fit identity already. I talk about that in my podcast, my Wholeness podcast. It's here on YouTube. You can also check it out on iTunes and all the places. But it's called Wholeness with Melissa Kathryn. But I really, really want to tell you that it's so important for you to be in the space of what do you want to be true for you as you age? Do you want to tell yourself that you can't wear clothes that you want, that you might as well hang up your bikini, that you can just expect to gain weight? Like right now, we're being told we're going to live into our hundreds, right? Like based off of our bodies, me and you right now, if you're in my age demographic or even like up to age 60 and down to like age 20, guys, we're expected to live, if you take care of yourself, well into our hundreds. So I think there's this belief system that, people go, well, why would I want to live that long? And I'm like, well, you're assuming that you're going to be decrepit and like elderly, like in this, what if you were living your best life? What if you were like, I love life. Like, I never want to miss out. I just keep getting better and better and I'm looking better. And I'm not saying that skin doesn't sag and wrinkles and things like that. There's a lot of preventatives that we can do depending on what you want to subscribe to, whether you're into surgeries or lotions or potions or all the things. But let's talk about the thing that matters the most, and it's the mind. It's the imagined mind. It's fueling the mind. It's feeding the mind to say that you age backwards. In my community, the women always say, I have the body age of a 25-year-old. I have the body age of a 25-year-old. For my clients that want to have babies in their 40s, they're like, I have the fertility age of a woman that's 25. And do you see what I'm saying? It's what you decide. What you decide will be true for you. That is your reality. That's it. And anything else that's feeding you into that, whether it's your news or your news feed on social media, make sure that it supports what you want to be your reality. Okay, so step 2, busting the myth. And I also am going to give you some tips to counter these things as well. But we first have to create the identity. I want you to own, what is the identity of the woman that you want to be? How do you want to age? What do you want it to look like? What do you want to be true for you and your metabolism? I made it true for me that without a thyroid, that my body metaphysically knows a thyroid is there and it's highly functioning. that my body does its thing, that it works for me, that it effortlessly releases weight, that I eat things that feel good for me, right? Like I own that identity. I live in that identity. That is who I choose to be. And that's what is real for me. It shows up in my 3D reality. Even when I wasn't seeing it, I still chose to say it. I chose to see it. I chose to be it, right? Sometimes it's not immediate. That's what faith is. It's I'm in the expectancy. I know it's coming, right? Okay. So next, never let somebody dictate or tell you who you can and can't be, how you can and can't dress. Never give anyone that power over you. Now, I can understand in midlife and going through different phases, and after you have kids or you empty nesting and you're kind of going like, I'm looking in my closet and these clothes don't look like me anymore. That is not called, hey, I don't have to wear these things anymore unless you don't want to. And I get it if you're looking at things like, I mean, I look back and I wore these like hoochie jeans. I think my zipper was this long. They were down to my vagina, and we wore them out in our 20s. That like there was no high-waisted jean. That's what you wore in your 20s. Do I want to pull those out now and wear them? No, I don't. That's not what I'm saying. So I completely understand. But I also want to say to you, after the age of 40, you can still look sexy. You can still look hot. After the age of 50, after the age of 60, 70, like we don't need to buy into anything that doesn't feel good and true for us. Again, I can say, and if you didn't know this about me, I used to be a fashion designer in New York City for over a decade. So I know style. I used to style my clients. When I first started my business, I had an ideal body business, ideal life. I used to go to their homes and declutter their closets and put outfits together. And then I would take them to one of the stores that we knew, Bloomingdale's or like whatever. They would have a rack for me and I would have pulled clothes for my clients. Now I do shopping carts for my clients in our full services. But anyway, that's a whole other thing. But I want to tell you, I completely understand when there's, again, after having children, different phases in life. Midlife for me, all of a sudden I started looking at my closet going, none of this stuff looks like me. Like, I don't know, like it doesn't feel like, and so I sat and I said, you know what? Who is the version of me? Who is the version of me that I'm choosing to be? What is that next level version of Melissa? What's the next level version of you? Girl, what's the best next version of you? Go and try on your clothes in your closet. And if they aren't aligned with the heiress, with the multi-million-dollar you, with the you that's got your ideal body, I don't care if you're like, well, Melissa, you know, I don't have the body right now. It doesn't matter. If you have clothes in your closet that don't make you feel beautiful, then they need to go. And I'm not saying like, I understand you might go, I don't have the money for a new wardrobe. I always tell my clients, just get one good workout outfit and one good black dress that no matter what your weight is, you can put it on. It's what we call our transition uniform, but it means we still show up as our best self. So when I work with my clients and in our community on decluttering, I would say we're decluttering with the identity of our future self. We're decluttering with our highest self. We're looking around our home going, is this reflective of the highest and best version of me? Are the clothes in my closet like really what I want? Like if you said to me, because my clients will go, well, Melissa, I don't want to get rid of it. I'm not sure. And I go, okay, I have a question for you. If I said to you, I could get you an upgraded version of your favorite hoodie, but it's from I'm going to make up, let's just say Lululemon or something, right? And you currently have one that's from Target. Don't get me wrong, I love me some Target. But would you want the Lululemon? Would you get rid of it? And they're like, oh yeah. And I'm like, okay, so that's what I'm saying to you. The universe abhors a vacuum. Create the space for the wardrobe that you desire. So when we are going through transition times, I do want to say where it makes sense if you look in your closet, you're like, this stuff doesn't feel like me. That's when you get to donate it. Give it to somebody who's going to love it, where they're like, oh my God, this is my favorite thing. And make room for the things that really speak to you. I had pieces from when I lived in New York that I moved to California. It's like, when am I wearing this stuff? You know, in New York City, it's like I was walking down a runway, and then I'm living in a little surf spiritual beach town in California where wearing black jeans, they thought I was getting dressed up, right? Okay, so that is what I want to say about that. Don't give anybody the power to tell you how you get to dress or what you get to look like. You do you. And I had a boss when I worked in the design company. She lived in Australia. She's one of my favorite people, Fiona. And she was in her like late 50s, and she would come from Australia and she wore this like glitter eyeshadow. And she's just this artsy and spiky red hair, and I just love that she wasn't in this, oh, I can't have glittery eyeshadow. Like I actually really get frustrated when people put like actual parameters on what's deemed okay, or like, oh, that's for young girls. It's like, if glitter makes you feel good, girl, you go put some glitter on. If you want to put some glitter bronzer on your body, by all means. Like, I don't think any of us should say anything about what makes anybody else happy. You do you, boo. All right, so let's talk about other myths around aging and weight loss and what gets to happen for you. So one, we already identified that the myth that your metabolism slows and that you have to gain weight, like that just is not true. And the women in my community can attest to that, and so can I. I'm in a prime example of it without a thyroid. Okay, so let's debunk that right now. Now, will I say that the way that you may feel, and you might notice that you don't need as much food, you might notice that you want more sleep, you might notice that you jive with different workouts? Yeah, so let's talk about that. Ideal workouts after the age of 40 for you are going to be zone 2 cardio and lifting heavy, and then complementing that with yoga, with extra walks, and with Pilates. I am not one of these people that's going to sit here and tell you, like, if you really have a significant amount of weight to lose, just doing bar classes or just doing Pilates, I would not say, if you didn't have a timeline on it, then okay. I still will tell you after the age of 40 that the best thing, even after the age of 35, that you can start doing for you and your body is zone 2 cardio. Getting out of these HIIT plyometric workouts, maybe do 1 or 2 of those a week, maybe, but really I would do zone 2 cardio and maybe a spin class, do some swimming, dance, right? Things of that nature. I have my pink roller skates, and then lift heavy. Strength training is the way to transform your body. Cardio is just good for your heart. It's good for endorphin release and things of that nature, but I still will stand by strength training is what will transform your body. I see it all the time. I did it. I'm an ex-fitness competitor. I won the best body division in the International Natural Body Federation. And I can tell you, once I learned about strength training and properly how to do it, I was like, this is the key to transforming your body. If there's an aspect of your body, if you're like, I've always had a flat ass, or I've always had a bigger belly, or I've always had chunkier thighs, as somebody that grew up thinking thunder thighs, that I was so much bigger than I was, that I bubble butt, all these comments, when I learned about strength training and I saw what I could do and how I could define my legs, how I could lift my butt, how I could actually cinch in and create a V waist, right? And about symmetry and all of that, it's a game changer. And I'm not saying that you even need to know how to do any of that, but just start lifting heavier weights. Meet yourself where you're at. So what that would look like is a heavier weight for you would be that you can't complete more than 6 to 8 reps. That is when you're literally like, I need to drop the weights. I have lifted my muscles to atrophy. And that's what you want, because atrophy means we've broken down the muscle, which means now we get to build lean muscle and bust through fat. Okay, a few other tips for really releasing fat and getting around this to help you in the easiest way possible. Here are my flash tips for you. Be done eating 3 to 4 hours before bed. I ideally would say kitchen close by 6, 7 o'clock at the latest. 2, cook more meals than you do eating out. 3, I live by the 80-20 rule. Please don't be like life is meant to be enjoyed. 80-20 rule. 80% of the time eat clean, 20% of the time, and eat what you want. And eat what you want does not mean we're on a diet, so a cheat day is we're going to eat from 8 a.m. until 8 p.m., right? Like that defeats the whole purpose. We want to learn what's right for our body. Remember, your stomach is the size of a fist. It will expand the width of 8 baseballs. 8. So we don't actually need that much fuel. I want you to think of yourself as a Porsche. You need the highest optimal fuel to get from point A to point B. We don't want 87. We want some 93. Do you know what I'm saying? So we want to eat clean. We want to eat foods closest to their natural state. We want to eat real foods. We want an apple. You know, like we want to know what it is. If you're looking at a laundry list, that's not going to help you. Drink more water. Have coffee after 11 o'clock. Understand that when you wake up, your cortisol is already spiked after the age of 35. It is already spiked. So going and having coffee right away, we want to flush the body with 16 ounces of water. We want to get rid of the acidity that's built up in our belly, not put acid on acid. Coffee is essentially acid on acid and acidic on acid. We want to expunge and eliminate, aid in digestion with a warm cup of lemon, organic pressed lemon, and in some warm water, dash a little cayenne pepper to help speed the metabolism. Let that flush through your body and go for a walk. Get some vitamin D. Be with yourself. Allow your cortisol, work out first thing in the morning, even on a fasted state. You really don't. That's another thing that I find a lot of women have these pre-programming that they need to eat. And I'm like, do you really need to eat? Some of you are like, yeah, I do. Then do that. That's what's right for your body. A lot of you learned that you're supposed to eat before you work out or must have a full meal or protein, and you have to have protein 30 minutes after a workout. Like, start paying attention to your body, because your body wants you to be at your ideal weight and it's guiding you all the time. Okay? So the more that you tune in and listen to your body, the more guidance you'll receive and the easier it's going to be. And that's truly when my clients fall into effortless weight loss, when they're really just listening and they find that the fuller their life, the less they want the food. The fuller they are of themselves and love for themselves and connection to themselves, the less they want the food. Now, if this sounds good to you and you really want to learn how to release weight effortlessly and transform your body before summer in a way that feels easy, that makes sense for you, we are running our next challenge. It's called our Next Level Body. It is happening May 1st, and it's happening within Limitless Academy, which is my membership program. If you want to be a part of our Next Level Challenge and you want to join Limitless Academy, you can join for only $98. That will get you the challenge. It will get you our 3 group calls for the month, actually 4. It will get you daily accountability, live coaching and support from me in real time, along with a community of women just like you to support each other and where you want to be. So if you are interested in that, put Next Level in the comments below. We would love to have you, and I'll send you a link and you can check it out and get in at the intro rate. And by the way, you can do the intro rate and then you can leave. You do not have to stay. We don't do anything crazy like that. But you will love it and you can benefit a ton, especially if that's something that you're ready for. If you're ready for your next level body, let's do this, because the mindset is the most important piece. I have to be honest, it is. We can all release weight. It's actually not that hard. It's what is stopping you, what's been getting in the way, and what is your identity, and who do you believe you're deserving of being, and what do you believe you're deserving of having. I find that many women don't actually believe that they're deserving of releasing the weight and keeping it off, nor do they identify as that woman. And those are things that could come up in a subconscious setting. And what I mean by that is the subconscious will do interference and it'll say things to you like, go eat, like have this, it's okay. And then all of a sudden, every night you've eaten dessert and you're like, what just happened? And you notice that the 5 pounds you lost that you felt so good about, you just put back on, right? There's all these different ways that the subconscious weighs in. It's really just there to protect you. But when we can identify where these belief systems came from and what's really going on and counter them with what you want to be your truth, while we're also healing that part and identifying what's going on within us, this is the higher level work that I do. And this is what I had to do with myself, because I was an ideal body coach, I was a nutritionist, and I was a weight loss expert working in New York City. And I was going, I know exactly how to transform a body. I know exactly what to do. So why is it that I just won a fitness competition and ate the weight back? What's really going on here? And I dropped to my hands and knees because my entire life was around dieting and food. And it was all consuming. And I hated it. I hated it. And I felt like something was wrong with me. And I had immense guilt and shame. I felt like I had this big secret. I didn't understand it. I didn't have a quintessential eating disorder. I was more what you'd call orthorexia nervosa and compulsive emotional eating. But I would no purging, no starving, and I didn't understand it. And once I saw that food, it was more than food for me. It was like a human connection. It was this thing that was, it had been like a support system for me. I hadn't really learned how to do life without that. Celebrating with food, being sad with food, having food there, for the good, the bad. I mean, it kind of sounds crazy, but it was a relationship. And I wasn't treating it like a relationship. So every time I went on a diet, my mind was like, okay, good. And then we'll just gain the weight back and then we'll have our best friend food back, and I know that might sound weird and it might not fully make sense right now, but it makes a lot of sense the way that I teach it in my programs. And this is why we've helped thousands of women actually heal their relationship with food, make peace with their bodies, release weight effortlessly. And all they always say to me is, it really is that easy. It really is. It's just like when people manifest, it finally clicks about manifesting money and they're like, it really is that easy, but when you're in it, it doesn't feel easy. In fact, it's like the one thing that you really want that you can't seem to figure out, but you're like, if I just had this, it would solve all the things. And that's what I want to tell you. It's never about the weight. It's not going to solve all the things. You solve all the things by falling in love with you and being the whole beautiful truth of who you are, which is why my business is called Wholeness, coming back to the truth of who you are before you ever thought you were less than, whether due to a number on the scale, a trauma, or any limiting belief. Lady Love, we are here to live our biggest, best, most extraordinary lives. That's what I want. And if that's what you want too, then join us for Next Level Body, the Next Level Body Challenge. And just join Limitless Academy. That's what we do in there. It's about going to your next level and living an extraordinary life in a body that you love. All right. If that's what you want, put next level in the comments and I will send you a link. And I just want to thank you so much for being here. And if you want, I would love to also give you a free gift of our Wholeness Cookbook to support you in releasing weight. So I will give that to you complimentary if you put cookbook below as well. All right. Make sure to subscribe if you like me, if you like this channel. We've got more stuff, great stuff coming up this week. Stay tuned. You will see me again on Thursday at noon and also on Sunday at 11. All my love, and I'll see you then. Bye.